If you have an issue with finding entries and executing on them, I'm going to show you in this video how I execute my entries, how I spot them, how I wait patiently for a specific setup, because I have two entry models, guys. So we're going to go over both of those here in this video. I have an aggressive entry model as well as a break and retest. Now, to be very honest, the break and retest pays the most, gives you the best entry you can get. The stop losses are very tight compared to the aggressive entry, or if it pulls back, you got to control your emotions. Now, all of these trades are trades that I have actually taken myself as well. Let's get right into it and let's give you guys some context. So on the left side of my panel, I have the S&P 500s, which is SPY here on a 5-minute time frame, which just means every 5 minutes a new candle forms, which just also represents buyers and sellers consistently buying and selling within that 5-minute time frame. Now, on the right side of my panel, same thing, S&P 500s, SPY, except we're looking at the 15-minute time frame. And I'll show you guys why in a second. Which all it means is that every 15 minutes there is a new candle, and all it represents is straight buyers and sellers consistently buying and selling that stock for a full 15 minutes. Now, if you're in my Discord or if you know me, you know that I do not like waiting for a 5-minute breakout, because a 5-minute breakout honestly has faked me out so many times, more often than not. To be honest, the 15-minute time frame has been showing me some great confirmation, and then I use the 5 minutes as a way to enter on the retest. So let's get right into today's video. And guys, understand, every trade, there's always a different scenario. So on the first trade here, we're gonna go over this trade setup. So if you have any questions, it might be answered on the next trade setup that we break down. And if you have any further questions, even more than that, feel free to DM me or at me in the chat. And I'm always willing to hop on a live voice chat, share my screen, and we can break it down even further. So let's get right into this trade on why I even took puts on this S&P 500s. First of all, let's ignore all this crap and act like none of this general area existed, just to give us some good idea of what we're looking at. So the way I spotted this trade, guys, is very simple. And a lot of traders do this too. I mean, I'm just showing you guys this, how to execute off any levels you have. You guys don't even need to use my levels, but a lot of traders like to use pre-market low. Correct me if I'm wrong, but a lot of traders like to use pre-market low and pre-market high. So in this case, on this very specific scenario trade, you can see pre-market high is way up here. Plus I have a resistance zone that rejected in the pre-market highs, but also very simply, I don't want to lose anybody. This is pre-market low right here. A lot of us watch pre-market low. It's a very simple level that a lot of traders use. And me, myself, I like to take puts below pre-market low. The moment market opens, guys, look, I understand you're a new trader. First 15-minute market opens, you see a lot of big pushes to the upside. Maybe it might make you think you want to enter some calls. But guys, we're not even really above these candles really like that. I mean, there's no official closes. So again, a triple top here, reject to the downside. Look, very simply, my trade plan is I plan to take puts below pre-market low, this pink level. So even though we're dropping here and I plan to take puts here, doesn't mean I'm gonna enter here. That doesn't make any sense. What? If I plan to take puts below pre-market low, why would I enter above pre-market low? It just doesn't make any sense, guys. So understand, if I'm feeling bearish below a specific level, doesn't mean I'm gonna take puts right away. So in this case, nice triple top rejection to the downside. Market tries to push up, but again, look at this. Very simply, use all your technical analysis in your favor. This is a lower high. We did not create a higher high, which indicates a breakout, which indicates buyers are trying to step in. Guys, it's very simple. Lower high. Market starts trending downwards, and we get exactly what we want. Now let's talk about this. Now here we are. Our trade idea is coming into play. This is where you're sitting on the edge of your seat, getting your puts loaded up, looking at what contracts you want to choose, seeing where you plan on entering. And guys, most traders, especially new traders, what they end up doing is they don't even care how much they're willing to lose. They don't care how much they're willing to win. And in this case, guys, what I like to try to shoot for is 1 to 3s, which means I can lose 2 times. And if my third trade hits my price target, I can win everything back and some more. So look at this. I already had my put contracts ready. Everybody in Discord was also eyeing pre-market low. Ends up getting a nice fat 5-minute candle break below. And guys, not only that, not only does this 5-minute candle break below, the 15-minute also gets a candle break below. Now for me, that is my confirmation candle. If it was just a 5 minutes, I wouldn't really probably care, because I've seen a 5-minute candle close below and then the next candle in 5 minutes just instantly breaks back above, which what it looks like on the 15-minute time frame is a hammer and ends up getting a long way to the downside. So you just gotta be very careful, which is why I use the 15-minute time frame as a confirmation candle for me. Nice 15-minute candle close below, right? That's my confirmation. And then I like to use the 5 minutes as a way to enter on the retest. So in this case, you can see I have an arrow here because this is the candle that I entered on the retest. The reason why I entered on this candle here is very simply because it's as close as you can get, guys, as close as you can get to pre-market low. Look at this. The highest this candle hit was only 9 cents away from pre-market low. That means if I entered as close as I can get to pre-market low, which is only 9 cents away, worst case scenario, if the candle closes back above, that's only about a 10-cent move, which means my stop loss is most likely going to be about 3 to 5% compared to the other strategy that I have, which is the aggressive entry. So let's talk about the aggressive entry. So here is the aggressive entry model setup. Now again, if you're using the 15-minute time frame as a confirmation candle, if I were to enter off the aggressive entry, the reason why I dislike this strategy is it does pay. Don't get me wrong. A lot of people are asking me the reason why they don't enter with the break and retest is because sometimes you don't get the retest. And I understand. Sometimes you just don't get the retest. So what you got to wait for is this, guys. Look, if you're going to take the aggressive entry model, understand this. If you enter at the very bottom of this candle, just because it closes below, you got to be able to stomach the pullback if the pullback happens. And in this case, the pullback did happen. So if you were to enter out on this candle at 580.85 around this general area, you would have to stomach a pullback all the way, almost like a $2 move. No, a full dollar move, which a full dollar move is probably about 10, 15, 20-ish% already in the negatives, which is why I don't like using the aggressive entry. Sometimes it does move and break away and you just can't catch a retest. But guys, understand, be very strict with your trade entries and be very strict with what entry models you want to trade, what strategies you want to trade. So had I entered on the aggressive model entry, I would have to stomach this pullback. Now, the reason why I like the break and retest model is because, guys, I entered on this 5-minute candle. Look at this. There was a pullback about 70 cents and I was pretty down, but the market rejected and we live traded this. Don't worry. If anybody's curious and wants to watch the live trade, it is on my YouTube. I've live traded this as well. But again, I was waiting for this reject. Look at this nice long wick to the upside for a reject. Now, you might be questioning, why didn't you exit? It's above your stop loss. It's way above your stop loss. Now, don't get me wrong. It is. But the reason why I don't exit is because, guys, again, you wait for candle closes. If I were just to exit on the stop off just because of this candle, yes, I would have exited maybe about 10, 15 percent L. But look at this. I would have been mad if I would have saw the candle close and it closed long wick. This is even more bearish. This is indicating that sellers are taking control based off the candlestick strength chart. If you understand candlesticks, then you understand that this is also a seller candle, indicating that sellers are stepping in. Guys, look at these candles never get back above, closed above at all. Not only that, then it starts creating this little bit of a pennant here. This pennant starts forming after I enter on this candle. When I entered, this pennant wasn't here yet. I'm still in, just holding. And then again, breaks below this pennant, continues on to the downside, and this is where I sell. Now, I don't actually get to be able to sell all the way down here, unfortunately. Reason being is because I saw these two dojis. I expected us just at least climb back a little bit, but we ended up hitting price target all the way. But this trade right here was 25% gain, guys. So understand, that's just one single trade out of many. So let's go on to the next trade and show you guys exactly what I'm talking about as far as how to spot another entry on another trade setup. Here is SPY, the SP 500s. Let's say you're just only watching the 15-minute time frame. Just to clear up maybe a question for, maybe I'm kind of confusing you guys while I'm jumping back in from different time frames. It's a little bit 6-dimensional. It's not 2D, it's not 3D. It's stock trading is so interdimensional. There's so many different ways, so many different angles to look at the market. Let's say you're only watching the 15-minute time frame for right now, and then as soon as you get a confirmation on the 15-minute time frame, then you go down to 5 minutes. So let's say you're only watching it, okay? Guys, look at this price action here. Look at this. I mean, please pay attention. Please pay attention. If you don't learn anything from today's lesson, please learn from this here. This is the day before. This is Thursday. Look at Friday. We're continually climbing higher. We're uptrending, guys. We uptrending. We hit this resistance in the pre-market. This is pre-market high right here, 608.15. Oh my God, I hope you guys are paying attention, please. 608.15, pre-market high. On top of that, I have a resistance level here. Oh my God, please pay attention, please. 15-minute candle, breakout. Guys, look at this. 15-minute time frame breakout. You can even enter on a 15-minute time frame retest, or after this candle breakout, flip to the 5 minutes. This is that 15-minute candle breakout right here. This is that candle on the 15-minute, on the 5 minute, and this is what it looks like on a 15-minute time frame. You can see my crosshairs exactly to it. Guys, please pay attention. You can enter on the next candle on the 5-minute retest. This is the retest. This is the retest. Guys, if you enter here, how can you lose? How can you lose? If you enter here after this 15-minute time frame confirmation breakout, how can you lose? Literally, continuing on climbing higher. Long wick to the downside, back to a bullish candle hammer. Breaks to the upside. A little bit of a pullback. Breaks back up. Pullback. Breaks back up again. Big pullback. Guys, again, let's say, hopefully you sold. If you didn't sell, you can still hold. I mean, look at this. Another hammer, boom, until you get a break below. But let's not jump ahead of ourselves. Guys, let's say you took this first trade and you sold here 30%. I don't know, you just collected. You just said, I'm in and out. I'm taking my scalp. Oh my God, guys, please pay attention. I hope you guys are paying attention. Check this out. What are these 15-minute time frame candles telling you? Buyers are stepping in. Look at the volume. Major buyers. This is a confirmation that buyers want to hold this level. Again, if you get these two 15-minute candles here, very simply, you can go drop down to the 5 minutes and just take as close as you can a retest entry of some calls break back to the upside. Now, hopefully you close here again. Hindsight in your favor, of course, but let's say you didn't. Boom, fat sell-off. You just got to take the L here. You just got to cut it here. If you did enter here on this candle and you got caught holding the bag, guys, you got to cut it here. If you have hope, and the reason why I got to cut it here is because, guys, it's breaking structure. It's breaking your trade plan. The only reason you were even in this trade to begin with was very simply because you were holding this support. It blows my mind genuinely when I see people still holding their upside position when it broke a support level. Like, what? Doesn't make any genuine sense. And they'll literally let it go all the way down to negative 100%. When they could have just took the cut here for about, I don't know, 10, 12% and be able to trade the same amount of capital on the next trade, or if not, going for a little bit less, or whatever the case is, guys. You guys understand what I'm saying? So now let's talk about another trade idea. Let's say you're watching the 15-minute time frame again. Let's say you missed these bounces. Guys, again, technical analysis, use everything in your favor. Lower high. I haven't even threw on the EMAs at all through this whole video. Imagine, I bet if I throw on the EMAs, this candle loses the EMAs. I guarantee 100%, 100%. Look at how on the 15-minute time frame again, let's say you missed all of these call setups and now you're just waiting, or you're somebody like me who loves to wait for puts. I love puts. You want to know why I love puts? Because bears paid the most money. I ain't even gonna lie, they do. I don't know why, but whenever bears step in, they love to wipe out all the gains the market made. But guys, look at this. Both entry models here work on this trade setup here. Peep this. Oh my Lord. This is why members ask me, what happens when you don't get the break and retest? Sometimes you don't. But guys, this is a trade where you get both. Had you entered on the aggressive entry, you just got paid. Had you entered when you wait for a 5-minute retest after a 15-minute candle close, you get paid. Either way, both trade methods worked in this exact trade setup. Guys, look at this. I'm a very patient trader. I don't care if I miss calls here and markets running. I'm not going to buy calls. Had I missed this second entry here, I don't really care. Missed the third setup. Now I really hate myself, but in this case, I highly doubt I'd miss a third setup like this. Now, this is something I would love to wait for because, again, not only did we lose the 9 EMA here, but also when you go over the 15-minute time frame, we're losing it here. This is that confirmation candle. You either execute and enter as close as you can to support, or in general, in this case, resistance. Now, how'd you use the break and retest model? Of course, you would have been printing. Entry would have been here. Stop loss very simply either at 9 EMA or again above this resistance, which is a very tight. Now, had you entered on the break and retest strategy, guys, you guys would have got paid fat. Or had you entered on the aggressive entry model setup, again, either way, you still would have got paid. So if you'd enter on a 15-minute time frame aggressive entry model, look at this. This is what it looks like on the 5 minutes. Straight instant rip down. Now, I understand when you enter here and you see some very nice gains, I'm not gonna lie, you're probably gonna be up about 50% here. Now, as traders, it's very difficult when you see some very big pullbacks, but you gotta do your absolute best, guys. If you got the entry way up here, there should be no reason you should be freaking out off a little bit of a pullback. Now, don't get me wrong, this is a pretty deep pullback. You already got a fat gain. It does need a pullback. There's no way it's just gonna continue on selling off without some pullbacks. You do need some. But if you don't watch the 5 minutes and you only watch the 15, I mean, it was just straight selling off all red. So that is how I use the 15-minute time frame, guys, for confirmation. And then I drop down to the 5 for the entry model, guys. Again, it's very simple. Now, of course, just after watching this video doesn't mean you can find all the trade setups, because you got to learn how to find support and resistance like the way I do. You got to find how to use candlesticks the way I do, what hammers represent, how to use the lower high concept. I mean, there's so many things to it that you got to add in your favor to find the best trade setup in your favor. That's what we do as traders, guys. So I'm also excited to go over today's trades, but this is just another trade that I took as well. But guys, this is a very important, vital lesson right here about why I don't use the 5 minute for a breakout and retest. Because if I was watching the 5 minutes right here, Look at this candle breakout. This is technically a 5-minute breakout, but the next candle immediately sells off. So if I would have entered after this breakout and maybe try to enter on this next candle at this little area, guys, I would have got toasted on. But look at the 15-minute time frame. It's a very simple reject. That's it. It's very simple. Just use the 15-minute time frame as a breakout. Now, I'm not saying you'll never be faked out, because there are certain days like FOMC where 15-minute time frame also fakes out too. And I can show you guys that here too. But again, 15-minute time frame rejects, sells back down below this zone. Maybe you can even take puts every time it hits this general area and you can get paid, but that's not my trading style. I'm a breakout trader. Here's what I'm just watching time frame. On the 5 minutes, doesn't really look like much, but on 15-minute time frame, you can see this is a breakout here. Decent volume, not really too crazy, honestly, but it's straight buyers. 5 minutes too. Again, another breakout candle on the 5 minute, except the only difference is this, guys. Understand, the only difference
is this.
The 15-minute time frame broke out too. That's my confirmation. There's the confirmation. 15-minute time frame breakout. Guys, after you get that 15-minute time frame breakout, what do? Then you go down to the 5-minute time frame, which is over here on the left side. Look, don't enter here. Look, this. Just because this is a red candle doesn't mean that's the break and retest. That's not the break and retest. If you enter here, you're gonna have to stomach the pullback. You're gonna have to stomach a decent drop, a 40-cent, 30-cent drop. Maybe you could stomach that, to be honest. You see, the issue is this, and this is also an issue I used to have too. I used to enter off this candle here, which is not really that wrong. You just have to trust that your trade plan is actually going to hit, and actually you have to trust your stop loss. And if it breaks back below this little level, then you just got to close it. So if this was your entry model, the aggressive entry, or you think that this is the closest you're going to get to a retest, which sometimes I won't lie. Sometimes I think this is the only retest is going to happen. Sometimes I think I'm only going to get as close as I can get here, and I do enter. But I have to tell myself again, I got to be able to understand that we might pull back just a little bit to this area. And what I need to look for is a retest or a bounce. Now, if a candle breaks below and it gets back in this general area, then I got to cut it. Reason being is because then it might start chopping back into here and cut back below here. So I got to cut it, guys. I got to take the loss. Now, to be honest, I wouldn't enter there. I would not. And I'm not even saying hindsight my favorite. I mean, I really took this trade and I did not enter there. This is where you enter, guys. Literally as close as you can get to your level. Imagine you enter here, right? You enter here, pumps up 8-10%, pulls all the way back. Bro, you're just at break even. That's it. How do you enter here? You're maybe down about 5-6%. And that's what I'm talking about. If you entered here on this candle, you'd be down a little bit and the emotions might start acting up a little bit. Of course, you're not always going to get the best entry. But all I'm trying to say, guys, is look, if you can do your absolute best to get the closest you can get to that level, your stop loss will be so small. Look at this. I entered here. Had this candle actually closed below on this lowest low it hit here, bro, that's just like 2%. That's not going to hurt me. I can take like 10 of those trades back to back and lose. And I took in 8 trades back to back and they were very small losses because my entries were golden. Bounces on the support. This is my entry. I'm break even. I'm not tripping. Worst case scenario, get it close below. Yeah, I cut it. Small loss. Boo hoo. Now we got the bounce. Boom. Breaks back above. Now I'm seeing 15-20%. Shooting for 30. Comes all the way back down to entry. And guess what, guys? I do exit. I do exit here for a small 1% L. I remember. I didn't though. I ain't gonna lie with y'all. I wish I could say I held it all the way again, but I didn't. Now again, had I just trusted the trade plan, had I just held a little bit more, of course, but all I'm trying to show you guys is, this is how I spot entries. You wait for that 15-minute candle time frame breakout. That's the confirmation. Then you enter on a 5-minute time frame retest. Not only that, look at this. You can get the entry on the retest on the 5 minutes. Then you can completely close this out and just look only on the 15-minute time frame. Now you can start watching just the 15-minute time frame. And I do that quite often too. Had I done that, I would see, look at this. Look at the candles, guys. Just keeps bouncing. Now we're gonna go over today's trades and show you guys, as well as another entry, and maybe we're gonna go over some losses too. But let's go over today's trades and show you guys our entries too as well. Because guys, entries are very important. It's what saves you. I'm talking about if you entered here on this 5-minute time frame and you exited here because you thought it was gonna break below and it just kept bouncing, you're gonna hate yourself. So let's talk about today's trade. Let's go over today's trades. So this is today's trades that I took on ABBV, guys. I got in for 325, sold them at 375 a piece. Now let's talk about it, because this trade, mind you, I want you guys to understand, like, I just can't emphasize it enough. I was eyeing this trade for a whole hour. If you look at today's vlog, you'll literally hear me say at 10 a.m. I'm eyeing calls on ABBV. I didn't enter until a whole hour later. Hindsight my favorite, of course. People are gonna say, man, you should have entered when you said. To be honest, yeah, if I would have entered when I was watching it, I'd be even a little bit more better, but I don't mind. You don't want to know why, guys, because check this out. Again, entries are important. Look at how if you're just watching the 5 minute, it looks pretty insane. It looks pretty intense. I'm not gonna lie, it does. Even on the 15-minute time frame, it kind of looks the same, except this is a flag. And the whole reason why I was watching in general is because, guys, look at this. This is a nice little cup and handle, a decent little cup and handle. Again, this stock is pretty bullish. Just had earnings, very bullish report too. Now, just because it's a cup and handle doesn't mean it's gonna print, but I used it in my favor because, guys, look at it, kept getting tight here. And on the 5 minutes, same thing, boom, kept getting tight here. And the reason why I entered is very simple, guys. The candle that did it for me on the 5 minute time frame, which not only is also on the 15-minute time frame here, which is the breakout, but this candle on the 5 minute is what did it for me too. Because check this out, guys. So you can see this is my entry here on the 5 minute time frame. But again, I use the 15-minute time frame as a way to confirm my entries, as a way to confirm that the stock does want to go in that general direction. So as I'm watching the 5 minute time frame and the 15-minute time frame at the same time, simultaneously, I see 5 minutes, big fat push. Just so happens to be a new 15-minute time frame candle. Plus this 15-minute time frame candle is a cup and handle, getting very tight here. And you get a strong 5 minute candle close on here. This candle here that pushed to that general double top where it should be a double top, it doesn't have a long wick like this. Now, if there was lots of long wicks to the upside, I wouldn't have taken this. But since I saw a very strong candle, plus the 15-minute time frame was breaking above this little trend, you guys can see this little downtrend here, it's breaking above. 15-minute time frame is confirming to me that we're getting a break above this little trend. Plus the 5 minutes getting strong here. So you know what I did? Look at this. In today's vlog, I originally was trying to enter here around the general area, around my actual stop loss. The contracts around here were going for $300. The contracts up here were going for $325. I had to pay the $325 entry fee. I wanted to get way below here. This is the actual retest way down here. But again, a different scenario. Sometimes you just don't get the retest. Now you might be asking me, what made me decide to get in if there wasn't a retest? And let's talk about this. This is why I'm so glad I'm breaking this down. Because you can see, guys, I entered on this 5 minute candle. After this nice push, a little bit of a consolidation here, long way to the upside, you might be thinking we're gonna reverse. But look at the 15-minute time frame. We still have a lot of room to go. We still have a lot to go. We still have a nice breakout. We're still squeezing here. This is a squeeze. Look how tight it's getting. I'm entering on I can see on the 5 minutes, I'm entering. It's getting real tight here on the 5 minutes too. Guys, I'm in. I entered at 11:11. As soon as this candle opens, 1 minute after this candle opens, I entered. As soon as I entered, guys, print. But I sold on this candle here. So I could have done a little bit better by holding for an extra 10 minutes. Who would have known? I don't know. Who would have known? I don't know. But I was satisfied with my gain, so I exited. I honestly expected us to pull back, but we never got a pullback. So again, if you want to understand why I entered with no retest, even though I did expect us to pull down here for me to get in contracts at $300, all I did, guys, is look at the 15-minute time frame over here. If I enter here, which this is where I did enter, you can see my crosshair on the 5 minute on the left side too. I entered because honestly, we still have a lot more room to climb. So I'm not chasing. So even if I entered here, which I thought would pull back. So look at this. If we did pull back, then this 15-minute time frame would actually have a long wick to the upside. Honestly, it would look ugly. But in this case, 15-minute kept holding. 5 minutes was holding too. Nice breakout. Let's talk about one last trade just to drill into your guys' heads one more time. Again, very briefly, for a quick example, 15-minute time frame, candle closes below. Then again, you wait for a 5 minute retest as close as you can get to the general area. So again, if this 15-minute candle is this candle right here and it closes below, then all you gotta do is step over here to the 5 minute time frame and wait for a retest, guys. That's it. Boom, slap puts there. Guys, if you enter puts here as close as you can, look at this. That's fat profits. Now, if you hold the bag, again, all you need to do is wait for a rejection at that general area where you entered in. If this candle was to close above, then you got to cut it. It's very simple. Cut it. You'd be a lot happier and appreciate if you cut a quick, small cut instead of holding a loss. So again, let's say you missed this 15-minute. Let's say you waited for this 15-minute confirmation candle break below. You missed the 5 minute retest. You're watching it. Maybe you missed this retest again. You just weren't sure. Then again, guys, look at this. Again, you can enter here after a rejection or not. You can enter here as close as you can to this resistance. Or if you're watching the 15-minute time frame, you can wait for another rejection candle. In this case, this is a rejection candle. Then again, you go back to the 5 minutes and again, just enter as close as you can. Like, it's that simple, guys. Finding entries is very simple. So let's talk about a failed trade setup, which again, I'm not a bounce trader, which is why I don't take bounce trades. They don't really pay for me. They don't really hit for me. Let's say you're watching 15-minute time frame. You see we're rejecting this area, these fibs, lower highs, and you're thinking, you know what? There might be a potential bounce here. And guys, honestly, sometimes these do hit. I'm not gonna lie. I just don't like playing them. But again, let's say you're waiting for 15-minute time frame. You see some decent buyer volume kicking in. You're trying to take calls. You see a little bit of a long wick to the downside. You're thinking that buyers are about to step in. So you're like, yeah, here's a nice 15-minute closure. Let me watch the 5 minute now. So again, Look at this. Look where my crosshair's at. This is the 15-minute time frame close, which is this candle here. This is that 15-minute time frame close. Pull up the candle strength chart. Who is in control? On a 5-minute time frame, it's sellers. On this 15-minute time frame, it's neutral. But again, let's say you're not really looking at that. Let's say you don't really care. You're thinking it's gonna bounce. And on top of that, I'm not gonna lie. Hammer candle, again, 5-minute time frame. Let's say you waited for this candle and they're like, ooh, it's gonna bounce. It has to bounce. I'm not gonna lie. I would think it bounced too. Say you entered calls here. If you were only watching a 5-minute time frame, the moment this candle gets a close back below that support, bro, you just gotta cut it. Look at where my crosshair is on the 15-minute time frame, guys. Please pay attention to what I'm trying to point out to you guys. Look at how the 15-minute time frame is a candle close below. That's confirmation. Trade idea plan for bounces out the way. Don't do it. Exit. Don't hold. Don't have hope. Don't tell yourself, well, I'll see what it does here. No. 15-minute time frame gets a candle close back below. Again, long wicks upside. Again, another 15-minute candle closes below. That's why you can start waiting for a breakout and capture the retest, guys. The break and retest is by far the best. But anyways, this is a very long video. I hope you guys caught a lot of information from this. I hope you guys understand what I'm trying to put down. And anybody that watched this video all the way through, please comment down that you watched all the way through, because I will know you really wanted to up your trading skills and not miss a single piece of information. And I'll send you something. So please comment down below and I'll ask for your IG so I can DM you a little something, because guys, I care and I reward those people that actually care about their education. Because to be honest, I would not be here if it wasn't for me understanding this concept. And I would not be here if I did not understand candles like this candle here, or volume, or the lower high concept. Everything gets added in as a puzzle. You got to use everything in your favor to find these trade setups, and then you execute on them. And maybe why you're losing too much is because you're executing on horrible trade ideas. You might see one green candle and be like, yep, let me buy calls here, and then sells off, and you're like, man, what the heck? Wait for breakouts. Wait for bounces. Wait for rejections. Don't enter in the middle of nowhere. That's my advice to you. So I hope you guys got some good information from this. I hope this helped you out just a little bit. And if it did, guys, join the free server, join the free Discord. Let's talk nonstop about trading and let's run up these numbers. I hope you guys enjoyed this video.